Hello, welcome to another episode of Drafting with Dummies. So today we'll be going ahead with another quick draft. The sets have just rotated, so we'll see what set is next. But before that, I thought we could go and take a look at the store because we have daily deals and today is a particularly good one. So for 50 gold, you get 550 gold. So essentially you're getting 500 gold for free, as long as you're able to spend either 10 gems or 50 gold. So this is probably the best kind of deal you could get on the store. And that's why I check in every day to see if there are any good deals. The only problem is that if I wait 12 hours or 13 hours in this case, then I would miss out on this free 500 gold, and we definitely don't want that. Gold is good for doing quick drafts, or you could spend it on packs. So let's go ahead and purchase this for 50 gold. And there you have it, it's a 500 gold profit. So let's claim that. Alright, so we're going to take a look at the quick draft. It is quick draft core set 2021. So core 21 has cards that are friendlier to beginners because they have less complex mechanics and the cards are not as powerful. So I think this is a good example for quick draft. Hopefully we'll be able to draft a good deck and get some wins. So let's go. Wow, so our first pack, we pick a mythic rare. It's Garruk Unleash. It's a planeswalker. So he's able to pump your own creatures or create a beast token. So this is pretty good in draft because planeswalkers give you recurring value over many turns. And if you're able to use its last ability, -7, we basically get a very powerful emblem whereby we can search for a creature card and put it on the battlefield for free. So let's pick this first and look at what else is in the pack. I think Basri's Solidarity is good for any archetypes that uses +1/+1 counters. But it's definitely not going to be better than picking Garruk. So let's go ahead and pick him. So now we're looking for good green cards and maybe good red cards as well, because usually a green-red creatures deck works well in draft. So we have Trashing Brontodon, a nice 3/4 creature for 3 mana, and you can still sacrifice it to destroy an artifact or enchantment if any is causing you problems. Nothing great on red. Sky Scanner is a good neutral card because it lets you draw a card to replace this one. Although for 1/1 flying for 3 mana, it is not one of the best, or at least the biggest creature that you can get. So I'm still going to go with Trashing Brontodon. So we get another Cultivate here, where you can ramp up your mana base by searching for 2 basic lands. Kitesail Freebooter is good for hand disruption, and I think in a human deck. Goblin Wizardry is particularly good in a blue-red Prowess deck. So Prowess is a mechanic where creatures get +1/+1 whenever you cast an instant or sorcery. So in this case, these 2 Goblin tokens will have Prowess. I think we'll just go with Cultivate just because it fits into our colors right now. I think green is definitely a color we will have in our deck because of Garruk. So picking something else like Freebooter, although a good card, I don't know if we'll ever be playing it unless we're going green-black, which is possible. So maybe we'll do Freebooter. Again, we don't really have any big red creatures or green creatures. Our biggest red creature is Pitchburn Devil. So when it dies, it deals 3 damage to any target, which is good. Though for 5 mana, it's a bit expensive. Deathbloom Talent, also a pretty good card. You create a free 1/1 token, and you can use that to be sacrificed for any other abilities. Archfiend's Vessel, also if you have a recurring or a card that can bring him back from the graveyard, you get a 5/5 flying creature, which is definitely significant in draft. Okay, we'll go with the Archfiend's Vessel since it's still black, and maybe we could form a green-black deck. Nothing fantastic in this deck, in this pack. Everything looks expensive for 5 mana, 5 mana. We could take a Titanic Grove just for a combat trick. Colossal Dreadmore, yes, this is the classic 6 mana for 6/6 trample. It can work pretty well in draft, so we can consider taking it. The other one is Skeleton Archer. Use 1 damage to any target when it enters the battlefield for 4 mana. Alright, let's take the bigger threat. Chandra's Pyreling. If we have a way to deal non-combat damage, this could get pretty powerful because it gains double strike. But right now, we don't have any red cards that do that. Mind Rod's okay if you can get the opponent down to 2 cards. We don't really have any other options, so I think we'll take the Mind Rod. Double the power of target creature. Very specific use. It could be a dead card in your hand when you get it. Secure the Scene is great, but we're not running white. Unless we want to go with a green-white, which is still possible. Because our black cards aren't that great. So let's do this. Wow, we don't get anything. Fierce Empath is pretty good. We could search for the Colossal Dreadmore with this. Alright. Again, no good red cards, so I think red is definitely out. We're either going green-black or green-white. Black hasn't been great. White, we do have this Mutt, which can destroy a target artifact or enchantment. So we'll just take this first and see what the next pack brings. Makeshift Battalion. We could go with a green-white aggressive deck. Nothing much here, we'll just take this for the sideboard. Defiant Strike. Blue card and land. Wow, so we get Basri Cat, another planeswalker in white that actually fits into the aggressive creature archetype build. So it can put a +1/+1 counter on your own creature and it gains indestructible until end of turn. Or you could create more 1/1 white soldier creature tokens that are attacking. So I think we have to pick this. Red is definitely out. Black doesn't look great as well. There is a good red removal card here, Scorching Dragonfire. But Feet of Resistance is a good card as well for white as a combat trick. So I think just for the sake of collection purposes and also it fits into our deck, we will pick Basri Cat.
I will not give up on my goal.
So now we'll take out all the black cards from our deck and put it into the sideboard because we're going to be green-white And now we need more creatures, or at least smaller creatures, to start overwhelming the opponent. We don't need a second cultivate because I think one is enough. We didn't even pick the cultivate, okay. Sabertooth Mauler, 4 mana for 3/3 to get a +1/+1 counter. It's not bad. Spare Spinner can block against flying creatures. Now Sage is also a good big creature, 4/4. Right, so I think we're gonna pick this Gnarled Sage, although we really have a Colossal Dreadmore, but I think having a bit more big creatures would be good. We do need to get small creatures though. So Alpine Watchdog would be good. But we also are lacking in removal and combat tricks. So Feet of Resistance can help with that. Canopy Stalker. Not the best, even though it's an uncommon. So I'm going to take Feet of Resistance. Great, so we have some good cards here. Watchdog, another Makeshift Battalion, a removal card, Swift Response. Alright, I kind of like removal because I feel it helps us lengthen our games and increases our chances of winning. And we found another Feat of Resistance and another Secure the Scene. Not sure what to pick now. Probably Feat of Resistance. We found another Gnarled Sage. But we don't have small creatures. Alright, go with our colors. Okay, we've got the Watchdog now. Let's get some smaller creatures. We have a wall that we can sacrifice to draw a card. Or we could do with Legion's Judgment. I'm fine with the wall. Another Watchdog. That's great. Rather than take another Defiant Strike, I'm thinking we might just take the Prismite. It's a small creature. Okay, cool. We could go with another Watchdog or a Blossoming Sands, which helps us balance the lands. Blossoming Sands helps us to filter our lands. Sure, why not? Alright, Makeshift Battalion, that's good. Silent Dart. Radiant Fountain. Right, last pack is actually a white card for our rare Glorious Anthem. Creatures you control get +1/+1. So it fits well with our creature-based theme. What else can we take? Pride Malkin, it makes use of +1/+1 counters. Also fits well. Grass of Darkness is a great black card, but not in our colors. Dub can be quite annoying because it gives creatures first strike. But I think Glorious Anthem has to be the one to pick, especially if we can create lots of tokens. Lots of good cards here for all colors. There's Finishing Blow for black, probably the best removal out there. We have two options. We have Kruon Dryad or Pegasus, so 1/3 flying for 2 mana. Probably the Dryad for us, as you can add +1/+1 counters. Garruk's Uprising. When it enters the battlefield, draw a card if I have a creature with power 4. And then with another creature of power 4 enters the battlefield, I draw a card as well. So the good thing is I do have a few creatures with power 4, namely the 2 Gnarled Sages and the Colossal Dreadmaw. But having this Uprising really slows down the deck, because we have to spend 3 mana to cast it. But nothing else is great. We could take a Makeshift Battalion again, or Secure the Scene. So let's take a look at our deck in terms of average casting cost, 3, which is pretty normal. In terms of removal, we have 2 Feet of Resistance, Secure the Scene, Swift Response. Oops. So we're still lacking in the removal part. We have 13 creatures, which is not really high, but not low as well. Okay, I'm gonna take the Garruk's Uprising because there's a chance the battalion might come back in the pack since it wasn't picked the last time. We have another Mutt for 5 mana. Not very keen on that. We have another Titanic Grove, so I think we'll have to pick that because there's nothing else in our colors. So we have some good cards. Fierce Empath again, but I think 1 is enough because we only have 1 Colossal Dreadmaw. I might go with the Pegasus so that we have a cheap flying creature. Dilophosaur, 4 mana 2/2. So Tessin Training, the good thing is that you could draw a card, but I'm not sure if it's going to be very useful in our creature aggro deck. I'm gonna take the Stalker. So we have another Pegasus. Or we could go with a Staunch Shieldmate, 1 mana for 1/3, which isn't too bad actually. We have a Dub or Dilophosaur. How many creatures do we have? 17, so we probably have to cut some anyway. So I'll go with Dub. Garruk's Gorehorn or Defiant Strike. Alright, let's go with the Gorehorn. Okay, Makeshift Battalion comes back. Another Mutt. I don't know. I think 1 Mutt is enough, so we'll go with Silent Dart. Nothing much here. Another Radiant Fountain, and that's the end of it. So let's build our deck. We are at 48 cards, so we have to cut down to 40, which is the usual number of cards in a draft deck. For lands, we usually try to stick to 17 unless our average cost is low, and then we can cut it down maybe to 16 lands. But in this case, our average is 3, which is quite normal, so we'll try to stick to 17 lands. 19 creatures and 12 non-creatures. Alright. So I think Prismite can go. We don't need 2 Titanic Groves. We have quite a lot of 5 casting cost cards, which kind of scares me. Maybe we don't need the Gorehorn. Alright, we'll take out Defiant Strike. We definitely have to keep our two planeswalkers, Garruk, Basri, as well as Glorious Anthem, because these are potentially our most valuable cards that can change the game. Okay, I'm thinking of taking out Portcullis Vine because it's not able to attack, so its only use is to block or sacrifice itself to draw a card. But I'm going to rely on Garruk's Uprising to draw cards, so maybe we don't need that. And we still have to cut 4 more cards. Okay, maybe I take out the Dilophosaur. Rambunctious Mutt. Okay, no dub. Alright, we're gonna take out the Great Horn because I think for a 3 toughness creature, it is very vulnerable. Even though with 7 power, you could storm over your opponent. Although with Garruk's Uprising, it gives him trample, so that might be relevant. Okay, we're down to 40 cards. We have 14 creatures and 9 non-creatures. It would be nice to have a little bit more creatures, but I'm not sure what else to cut from the non-creature side anymore. So we'll go with this and let's play a few games to see how well we do. So we're going first. We have 2 plains and a forest, which is great, but we have no small creatures to cast. So hopefully we draw a 2-drop soon. Otherwise, our first creature will be a Makeshift Battalion or a Brontodon. Opponent's on green, passes the turn. We don't draw a 2-drop unfortunately, so we just have to pass. So opponent's on green-white as well with a 1/1 Hydra creature, but anytime other +1/+1 counters are put on other creatures, he gets a +1/+1 as well. So this is gonna be really tricky. I will cast the Brontodon first, since he is a 3/4 and is might be able to block the Scourge. Opponent casts a Siege Striker, which when it attacks it can gives itself +1/+1 for each creature attacked this way, and it has double strike. So that is a problem. So next turn I can have Makeshift Battalion and Feat of Resistance up, so maybe this turn I will cast Glorious Anthem and just attack. The opponent's deck is relying on +1/+1 counters, which is very scary actually, because it could trigger off lots of additional +1/+1 counters. Wow, so it's dealing 8 damage to us. Unless I sacrifice my Brontodon, which I don't want to do now, actually. So I think we have to be on the defensive now because he can tap creatures to give it +1/+1, and with a 4/4 double striker, it is very dangerous. In fact, it's a 5/5 double striker. It doesn't have trample though, so what we could do is cast Makeshift Battalion. We will attack. Yep, sure. Ah, I see. You would destroy my Glorious Anthem. Just fine. So it's a 5/5 double strike creature. If I use Trashing Brontodon to destroy the dub, it becomes a 3/3 double strike. But I can cast Feat of Resistance on the Makeshift Battalion to give him protection from white. So this is what I'll do. I'll destroy this. Oh, I made a mistake there. Because I used 1 mana to use Brontodon, so I can't use Feat of Resistance anymore. Yikes, so his Scourge gets way bigger. So it looks really bad for us now. Okay, I don't think I will block this. Good game. Alright, so that was a bad first game. We couldn't get our creatures out, and the opponent had a nice strategy going, using his striker to give itself double strike. That's why it's good to have direct removal cards. So Feat of Resistance is limited in that way because you need to have your own creature, and it has to be big enough to deal with the opponents. Alright, let's go on to the next game. We're up against Anna Staxis. Very interesting hand. Again, no creatures at the start. We only have 1 5 mana creature, which is quite worrying. Glorious Anthem and Basri Cat do not work unless we have more creatures. So I think we're gonna mulligan this time. Okay, maybe this is better. We will put a forest back. Archfiend's Vessel, scary. If he's playing the green-black reanimate archetype that we talked about earlier, that could be a problem. No creatures from the opponent, so we'll cast our Alpine Watchdog. He has some kind of response available, maybe a Grasp of Darkness, but I don't think he wanted to cast it on our Archfiend's Vessel. So Cage Zombie, he can activate and cause me to lose 2 life only if a creature died in that turn. So I could cast the Fierce Empath or just hang back for Feat of Resistance, but what I'll do is I will attack since he has Vigilance. I don't think he will block. Alright, I'll save the empath for later. I do think he has Grasp of Darkness, so if I cast Feat of Resistance to give my Watchdog protection, he would just use Darkness on the dog and kill it, so I won't block. So we're both playing kind of like mind tricks on each other. We both think there is something that the opponent has. Alright, we get our Trashing Brontodon. And I will just cast it. And it might become a target for the Grasp of Darkness actually. Oh, it's Eliminate. Okay. I'm gonna hang back. Draw Gnarled Sage, which is great. I'm going to attack the Watchdog first. And then cast Fierce Empath and search for that Dreadmore, which we only have 1. So basically it's a one-time use. I'm gonna block the Cage Zombie and give it protection from black with Feat of Resistance. Alright, so let's attack first. And I will cast Dreadmore. Hopefully it doesn't have Finishing Blow or some other direct removal. Oh, but it's a Gloom Soul, which is even bigger than my guy. So what I can do is attack with the Dreadmore. And I will cast just 2 Makeshift Battalions, apply some pressure. So if he attacks with the Gloom Sower, I can choose to not block it. I will take 8. So I think I'm gonna attack with all to apply some pressure. He has to block with some creatures. He could use the Gloom Sower to get one of my battalions off, but he would have to use his other creatures to block something. Alright, I'm gonna get the flyer out of the way. And I'm gonna cast the Gnarled Sage. We're empty-handed, so all our cards are on the table. Opponent has 1 card. We're not sure what it might be. I'm really worried about the Archfiend's Vessel actually. So what is this? When you gain life, put that many +1/+1 counters on this creature. Okay. I will just block this then. He will add a +1/+1 counter to Gloom Soul. But I think that would be it. And we attack with all and we should win. Good game. Alright, so I think we'll end on that high note. Alright, we're gonna play one more match in the hope that the Planeswalkers will show up and we can see how powerful or not they are in draft. We're up against Fang Folfi. And we have a decent opening hand with 2 planes, 1 forest, and some small creatures to start off with. Hopefully if we draw another forest, we can get Garruk onto the board. So we'll keep this. Strangely, it took away Feat of Resistance. But he probably thinks because we don't have the forest or a second forest, it's going to be harder to cast Garruk, which is quite true actually. And he's going to steal something else. That's great. But the good thing is that we can still get it back somehow. Looks like his deck is all about card disruption. Hand disruption. His deck is all about hand disruption. Well, I'm definitely gonna attack first. Looks like he has a combat trick. Village rights, nice. Draw 2 cards. He finds his islands, so we now know it's a blue-black deck at least. Teferi's Tutelage, wow, it's a mill deck. So he plans to make me discard cards and also make me mill my library. We lose another battalion. But it might bring us closer to getting our forest, which we don't find actually. But we do get Basri Cat, which is great. But if we -2, it's going to be at loyalty 1, which makes him a big target for the freebooter because we have no way to block it. We could +1 and give a +1/+1 counter on target creature. Or we could go with the battalion. So I'm not sure what to do now. I'm thinking we'll just go with Basri. I will put the +1/+1 counter on the watchdog. And we will attack. We lose the Dreadmaw and another battalion, so we've lost all our battalions. Still no forest, surprisingly. So we need that extra forest to cast Brontodon. Returns our watchdog to our hand. A good thing is that we can cast both on the next turn for 4 mana. And he has another battalion, he has another unsubstantiate. He's going to attack me instead of Basri. Interesting. So we have 2 choices. I think we can definitely cast Pegasus to serve as a blocker to the freebooter. And then we can go with the battalion probably, or the Trashing Brontodon. I'm gonna go with battalion because I'm kind of worried about what the opponent might have, and he might get rid of the Brontodon. He's milling my cards though, so I must be quick, otherwise I have to use the Brontodon to destroy the tutelage. The tutelage mills 2 cards for every card he draws, so it could quickly run out my library. Like such as this, if he decides to sacrifice a creature, but I don't think he will. Or he discards a card, so he draws a card and he mills me for 2. Great, so we draw our land, which means we can do everything, can cast everything in our hand and also activate Trashing Brontodon if necessary. So I'm gonna cast the Watchdog. I'm going to add 1 counter to the battalion.
Now is the time to strike.
And I'm going to attack with both. Alright, and then I'm going to put down the forest and cast a Brontodon. So we have the option of sacrificing the Brontodon to kill the tutelage if it gets too close to killing my deck, which is 17 cards, so not great. Currently it's only stuck at 4 mana, which I think is good for us, because he might have some bigger creatures. He's gonna go to attack my Basri with the Freebooter. It's fine. It's my turn.
No peace for the unworthy.
Unfortunately, we only draw planes. But I think what we need to do is apply some pressure. So if we -2, we create 4 1/1 tokens. And is that enough to kill him? If he blocks out 2 biggest creatures, the Battalion and the Brontodon, he takes 2, 4 plus 4, so that's 8. So I think that's enough to kill him, but we will go ahead and try it out. So unless he has a 1 mana trick, I don't think he can get out of this. All right. Awesome, so we did it. We won a match using Basri, using his -2 ability to create 4 1/1 tokens and deal just enough damage to kill him. It was a pity our Garruk was taken away at the very second turn by Freebooter, but well, with our second Planeswalker we managed to overwhelm the opponent. So that's how good Planeswalkers can be in draft. It's even better if you can have 2, like in our case. Thanks for watching and hope you learned something as much as I did. Drafting is a difficult format and you only get better by playing more with it. So just research on the card list before starting on a quick draft. Every set is different with different mechanics. But if you try and follow some of the archetypes and themes, you can find more synergy in your decks. Please subscribe and like our videos. It helps a lot for our channel, and we hope to produce more videos in draft and other formats for you to enjoy. Have a good day and see you around soon.